Summer's officially here, and the bikini sale at shackshop.us is happening right now. Get hot styles, bold prints, and perfect fits, all on sale for a limited time. Whether you're beach-bound or poolside, we've got the bikini that makes you feel confident, cute, and totally summer-ready. So don't wait. Head to shackshop.us and shop the sale before it ends. That's shackshop.us, your new favorite bikini spot.
A turning point in the investigation entered a new and potentially decisive phase following a large-scale law enforcement action in Tucson, Arizona. A federal search warrant, executed with the assistance of SWAT personnel and FBI agents, led to multiple detentions and the seizure of at least one vehicle believed to be connected to the case. But beyond the flashing lights and tactical presence lies a deeper question that may determine how quickly the investigation advances. How fast will the forensic evidence be processed? A retired FBI supervisory special agent with more than 2 decades of experience has publicly emphasized that the next steps are critical, particularly the handling and transport of DNA evidence recovered during recent operations. This is the stage where momentum either accelerates or stalls, the former agent explained. In a case involving a medically vulnerable elderly victim, delays are not just procedural, they can be consequential. The federal search, what it signals. Executing a federal search warrant is not a casual decision. It requires sworn affidavits, judicial authorization, and the presentation of probable cause. The involvement of both Pima County authorities and federal agents suggests that investigators believe they have actionable intelligence rather than speculative suspicion. 3 individuals were detained at a residence located approximately 2 miles from Guthrie's home. A 4th individual was stopped during a traffic encounter at a Tucson restaurant parking lot. During that stop, law enforcement searched and towed a gray Range Rover. Legal experts note that the coordination between agencies indicates structured investigative planning. Federal warrants typically involve review at multiple levels of oversight before approval. This is not random, the retired agent emphasized. When you see that scale of coordination, it means there is evidence or intelligence guiding it. What happens after the headlines? While cameras capture tactical operations, the true investigative grind often unfolds quietly. According to experienced federal investigators, one of the immediate next steps following detentions and searches is comprehensive neighborhood canvassing. That means officers walking door to door, requesting voluntary interviews, collecting security footage, and reconstructing timelines. In modern investigations, doorbell cameras, traffic cameras, and private surveillance systems often serve as silent witnesses. If someone claims they weren't present at a certain time, video footage can confirm or contradict that, the former agent explained. You build a timeline from multiple angles. That's how cases solidify. This process, sometimes referred to internally as building the box, involves constructing a detailed framework around suspect movements, communications, and environmental factors. DNA evidence, the critical variable. Authorities have previously indicated that DNA not belonging to Guthrie or known individuals close to her was identified at her property. Gloves were reportedly recovered. Additional materials were seized from the Range Rover. DNA analysis can provide several forms of clarity: identification of unknown contributors, confirmation of presence at a location, exclusion of uninvolved individuals, linking of multiple scenes. But DNA processing requires lab resources, transportation logistics, and time. The controversy centers on where that testing should occur. Private lab versus Quantico, the debate. Pima County officials have stated that a private forensic laboratory in Florida has been contracted for evidence testing. The FBI reported that continuing with the private lab may be appropriate. However, some former federal investigators argue that the FBI laboratory at Quantico, Virginia, may offer faster federal coordination in time-sensitive situations. In certain high-priority cases, evidence is flown directly to Quantico using government aircraft, the retired agent emphasized. That removes shipping delays and can expedite results. Commercial shipping could introduce a delay of several days depending on weekend schedules and intake backlogs. In a situation involving an elderly woman without access to medication, every hour matters, he said. You don't wait for Monday morning. Time sensitivity in missing elderly cases. Age is a critical factor in missing persons investigations. According to national missing persons data, elderly individuals, particularly those with medical dependencies, face significantly elevated health risks after even short periods without necessary medication. Heart medication in particular can regulate blood pressure, prevent arrhythmias, and reduce risk of cardiac events. While authorities have not publicly confirmed medical specifics beyond reports that Guthrie lacks access to heart medication, the mere possibility increases urgency. Time is an abstract here, the retired agent emphasized. It's physiological. The legal landscape. It is essential to note that detention does not equate to arrest, and arrest does not equate to guilt. Individuals detained during an operation have not been publicly charged as of this writing. Search warrants are investigative tools, not declarations of culpability. Legal experts emphasize that due process remains paramount. Evidence collection, lab analysis, and prosecutorial review must follow established legal standards. Any public discussion of suspects must avoid presumption of guilt. The Range Rover, why vehicles matter. Vehicles frequently serve as mobile evidence platforms in criminal investigations. A vehicle can contain trace DNA, fibers, soil samples, digital devices, receipts, GPS records. The fact that the vehicle was covered from public view during removal suggests that investigators may have sought to protect potential evidentiary material from contamination or media exposure. Vehicles can tell a story, the retired agent said, but only if processed correctly. Federal aircraft and rapid transport. Historically, in high-profile or time-critical investigations, federal authorities have occasionally utilized government aircraft to immediately transport evidence to centralized facilities. This approach eliminates third-party shipping variables. However, such decisions depend on case classification, jurisdictional authority, lab capacity, security considerations. Authorities have not disclosed which option will ultimately be used in this case. The broader investigative strategy. Investigations of this scale typically unfold in overlapping phases: intelligence gathering, tactical action, forensic analysis, prosecutorial coordination, public communication. The Guthrie case appears to be transitioning between phases 2 and 3. DNA results could identify previously unknown individuals, confirm or refute alibis, narrow investigative focus, lead to additional warrants. But without expedited processing, the timeline stretches. The role of technology. Modern investigations rely heavily on cell tower data, geolocation mapping, digital forensics, financial transaction tracking, surveillance aggregation software. Each tool contributes to reconstructing the missing hours. The retired agent emphasized that DNA is powerful but rarely stands alone. It integrates into a broader evidentiary mosaic. Community impact. Cases involving elderly victims resonate deeply within communities. Public anxiety rises as timelines stretch. Neighborhood canvases not only gather information, but also reassure residents that progress is ongoing. Transparency, however, must balance with investigative integrity.
What happens next? Several potential developments could follow. Announcement of DNA results, additional detentions or arrests, public plea for information, confirmation of transport logistics, expanded search areas. Until lab analysis concludes, investigators operate within a narrowing but incomplete information framework. Fact check section. The following information in this report is based on publicly available statements and verified reporting. A federal search warrant was executed in Tucson related to the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. Multiple individuals were detained during coordinated operations. A gray Range Rover was searched and towed. Authorities previously stated that unidentified DNA was found at Guthrie's property. Pima County officials confirmed the use of a private Florida lab for forensic processing. The FBI laboratory in Quantico, Virginia, is a central federal forensic facility. Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old and reportedly without access to heart medication. Information regarding investigatory strategy, evidence handling protocols, and federal aircraft usage reflects commentary from a retired FBI supervisory special agent and general federal investigative procedures. No individuals detained have been publicly convicted or formally charged at the time of publication. Legal disclaimer. This report is based on publicly available information and expert commentary. All individuals referenced as detained are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. Detention does not imply criminal culpability. The analysis presented reflects informed commentary regarding investigatory procedures and does not constitute legal judgment or accusation. Law enforcement agencies retain full authority over evidence processing decisions, jurisdictional coordination, and prosecutorial determinations. This content is intended for informational and journalistic discussion purposes only. Closing analysis. The Nancy Guthrie investigation now stands at a critical inflection point. Tactical operations have been executed. Evidence has been seized. Individuals have been detained. The focus now shifts to science, to lab benches, extraction kits, and digital sequencing. In missing persons investigations involving medically vulnerable individuals, time transforms from a metric into a moral imperative. Whether DNA evidence is transported via commercial courier or federal aircraft, whether processed privately or at Quantico, the objective remains singular: clarity. And in cases like this, clarity cannot come soon enough.